Okay, so I'm back with this. I deleted the picture, but this next step, let me show you something that's just going to kind of help you see something. Right here, I'm going to do this particular one in red. I'm just going to put 13.4. Again, that's incorrect. You're going to need to figure out what I did or how I tricked you. But I'm just going to put that just because I think it'll be a good placeholder. But don't do that. Don't just add one like that. I'm just doing that to show you how to use the spreadsheet. What I think is going to be useful for you guys is to do this. Go up here till you get this little thing. Go to insert one left or insert a column. Let's put this in as, here is kind of the downfall of Google, or one of the pitfalls of Google Sheets. It's really hard to like put symbols, like Greek symbols in. You end up having to cut and paste. You can do that if you want. I don't mess with it right now, but I'm going to put change in position in centimeters. Okay, right here, you know what? I'm going to make that look a little bit nicer. I'm just going to put change in Y for your vertical position. That looks better because that's... Oh, by the way, to make this like the right size, I just mouse over this until I get that double arrow and then double click and it'll make it the size you want it, or the size it should be. All right, so change in Y, centimeters. Okay, so here, I'm going to start one under because I don't really have anything to change, and hit equals. And then it's going to be your change in position. It's going to be your final. So for this amount of time, it's this. All right. Minus your initial. So at 0.2003, that is your final minus your initial. Your change in position. This is going to be your overall change in position. I'm going to go put... I don't know how really, just this is going to be change in Y from point to point. This isn't necessarily your displacement or your usual change in Y. I'm going to do, I guess it would be like instantaneous change in position. I didn't really want to write all that in there. You can if you want, but just so you know that that's what this is. This isn't just your typical change in Y. Okay, put that up there. That's not going to work. Actually, the first bit of time it's going, it hadn't changed at all. 13 point, yeah. So let's look at this. That's how much it's changing in between each dot. That's how much space is in between each dot. I guess I could call this something else. If you think of something better to call that, that would be great. Just call it what makes sense to you. All right, so your velocity is going to be this, how much changed, how much space you have in between each dot, and the amount of time that that took. So this would be this number divided by, and I'm just going to enter this by hand. Don't get into the copy paste. 0.233. That's how much each one of my time intervals were, according to what I did earlier. So that gives you your velocity. Notice your velocity is increasing. Okay. Anyway, so I'm going to get back to the acceleration. Let's look at this. And actually, acceleration, we don't necessarily, well, you'll see. Let's first do graphs. Okay, let's do your position versus time graph first. So I'm going to highlight these two columns. I'm going to go to Insert, Chart. I don't know why they call it chart. They just do chart. And let's do this. The dots are nice, and we're actually going to do something with that in class, but let's go to this chart. And this looks pretty good. That looks about right. But let's go to customization. I want to show you a few things on it. Let's make the chart title look not so silly. Let's make it position versus time. Okay, the labels look good. The legend. Okay, see, that's this thing. I wish you could change the name of it. It doesn't really let you. I'm just going to take it out. It's just extra stuff you don't need. Okay, let's look. You got your horizontal axis, and I'm going to do this. Let's go to left vertical. Okay, it's labeled correctly, but what I want to do is I want to make this where it has positive and negative just to show you. A negative 16. You should do this to yours too, and maximum 16. Let's do that. And then take off this allow bounds to hide the data so that you can see both axes. Okay. That looks pretty good. This is interesting. See that linear, exponential, and polynomial? We're going to talk about that in class. So anyway, so that is your position versus time. Well, that's how mine looks. I don't know how yours should look. Okay, so now velocity versus time graph. Highlight the time column, then press Control, bottom left hand of your keyboard, and that should, whoops, time, Control, velocity. So I've highlighted both of them. Then go to Insert, Chart again. Okay, clearly the recommendations are messed up. Go to Chart Type. This is, you can click on Line. That's still totally not right. Click Aggregate Column A. Basically, that's just telling it you want to use column A and make versus column, the other column you're using. See, like that, that's not going to let me do it. Basically, that you're just comparing the two things that you put in instead of like using them both together. All right, then go to Customization because this still kind of looks weird. All right, Chart Title. This is not going to work, so we're going to go to Velocity. See, I do that. Velocity versus time. Okay, get rid of the legend, this little thing. They don't let you relabel it, so as far as I know. So we'll just take it out. Let's see. Horizontal should be named time. Okay, let's go to your left vertical label. Okay, it should be V for velocity, and that was, whoops. And that was measured in centimeters per second. Okay, so your minimum, see how this goes down to -20? Let's do -20, and then the maximum, let's make 20. Just so you can get an idea of what's kind of going on with this. Yeah, much better. Okay, so then the series. Let's make this one red, because the other one, or whatever color you want. The other one was blue. I just wanted it to be, you can see, and you can change the thickness of the line. You can make that a little bigger to get an idea. Let's see. That should do it. Hit Insert. And there's some stuff we're gonna change some things on these tomorrow, but this is what you need to have for tomorrow. See how these numbers are being annoying? Watch this. See, like whenever I'm making this smaller, they were scrunching together. See how whenever I make changes over here, it makes changes on here. See if I can get this a little bit good, and now it's tilting them. That's good. So I've kind of put these side by side. However you want to have them, you can play with it. But that is how you put those two graphs in.